Rita is a launch coaster at Alton Towers. This is one of the smallest Intamin Accelerator coasters, but it still features the trademark hydraulic launch. I know it's easy to bash on this ride for its name, theme, and small size, but I think it's genuinely a good ride, and I'll explain why in this review. Intamin debuted the Accelerator coaster in 2002. This model uses a hydraulic launch to achieve some of the fastest accelerations of any coasters. This was used for two coasters that would break the height and speed records in Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point and King Ka at Six Flags Great Adventure. Most of these coasters have eye-popping speeds and catapult riders over towering top hats. Alton Towers is one of the premier theme parks in England. This is a beautiful park with some intense roller coasters, despite the fact they cannot build above the tree line. This has led to some innovative and unique coasters built in subterranean pits, such as Nemesis and Oblivion. In 2005, Alton Towers opened an Intamin Accelerator coaster in Rita, Queen of Speed. They marketed this as your best Alton Towers ride ever. This set high expectations.
You said nothing could top Nemesis, but what you hadn't seen coming was Rita. Rita, Queen of Speed, your best Alton Towers ride ever.
But rather than building a one-of-a-kind terrain coaster they had built in the past, they simply went small with Rita. This may partly explain why it's not codenamed as a secret weapon. This is the nickname that Alton Towers has given a majority of their major coasters since the 1990s. These coasters are highly planned and unique. Secret Weapons 1 and 2 were Arrow Pipeline coasters that were never materialized. Secret Weapon 3 was Nemesis in 1994. Secret Weapon 4 was Oblivion in 1998. Secret Weapon 5 was the coaster formerly known as Air in 2002. The Secret Weapon program resumed in 2010 with 13. There are two other reasons why Rita was not designated as a secret weapon. The most likely factor is tied to the owner. During the planning and commissioning of the first 5 secret weapon projects, Tussauds was the owner. In the early 2000s, the park was in the midst of an ownership change, so they were prioritizing quicker investments. The secret weapon program resumed after Merlin, the current owners, took over. The quicker investments like Rita came at the expense of theming, which ties into the other reason this probably is not a secret weapon. The secret weapon coasters are typically highly themed experiences with stories behind them. Rita was essentially just a bare-bones coaster. It opened with a very loose racing theme. The launch is accompanied by racing lights and narration. That is it. You may ask if the name is significant. It is just a fun acronym for coaster enthusiasts. Hydraulic launch coasters are sometimes referred to as rocket coasters. The project was called Alton Towers Intamin Rocket. Rita is the first letter of each of those words, ordered in reverse. The section where Rita was placed was a kids' area formerly known as Ugland. One part of it was initially spun off in a Thunder Rock rally for Rita. In 2010, the whole land was transformed into dark forest. This coincided with the opening at 13, the aforementioned Secret Weapon 6. The premise behind the area was that the woods were haunted, so this meant that Rita would finally be themed, right? Not really. The ride's new premise was that it was an abandoned racetrack, so some vines were placed around the tire-shaped entrance. They were also placed in the launch tower. Then the launch narration was changed to tell riders to escape the forest. And as part of the transformation, which I do use loosely, the Queen of Speed moniker was dropped from the name. The paint has also become faded over time, which sort of works with the theme, but aesthetically it doesn't look the best. A majority of the track is red, but the highest elements are a dark green in an attempt to blend in with the trees. I have seen some rumors this ride could be removed in the future. Most of it is tied around the ride having a lesser theme than the park's other headlining coasters. While that part is true, the coaster is still popular. I do not see Alton Towers removing a popular ride just because it does not have the same standard of theming as the rest of the park. Besides, if that really bothered them, they could always add more theming. I think the fairer question is around the longevity of the hydraulic launch. Intamin no longer offers hydraulic launches, so parts are difficult, timely, and expensive to acquire. Further, we have seen multiple parks outright remove their accelerator coasters such as Six Flags Great Adventure or Kingda Ka. Other parks have updated the launch to LSMs. LSMs are not as powerful, but they are preferable from an operational standpoint for two reasons. 1. They are less complex. 2. Risk. Hydraulic launches have a lot of moving parts, so they are temperamental, and it is possible for cables to snap. This has happened once with Rita in 2012. The highest profile change occurred when Cedar Point and Zamperla transformed Top Thrill Dragster into Top Thrill 2 in 2024. That same year, Zamperla transformed the former Senza Fiato coaster into Thunderbolt when it was relocated to Peony Playland. While Top Thrill 2 is one of the tallest and fastest coasters in the world, Thunderbolt is similar in scale to Rita, so it shows the concept could probably work on Rita if Alton Towers truly wanted to modify it, and I assume Intamin could do the modification themselves if they want to preserve their relationship with the original manufacturer. But as of this recording, Merlin has shown no indication they will remove the hydraulic launch. In fact, they have the most operating hydraulic launch coasters of any chain in the world with 3. The other 2 are Stealth at Thorpe Park and Desert Race at Heide Park. The latter, interestingly, is a near clone of Rita. The rides are statistically similar, and the layouts have nearly identical elements. I mentioned that Rita is popular. It typically is one of the longer waits in the park, averaging out to 30 to 45 minutes most days. If you visit on weekends or holiday periods, expect waits closer to 45 to 60 minutes. The ride has 2 trains, and both are frequently in use. Each train holds 20 riders, as they are comprised of 5 cars with 2 rows of 2. While the trains are smaller than some of the park's other major coasters, the short cycle time works in this coaster's favor, and operations are usually solid, as there are separate load and unload platforms. The biggest limiter seems to be the launch position. Rita takes off directly from the station, so the train in the unload platform cannot advance until after the train ahead of it has cleared the first hill. What can you do to avoid the worst waits? The best approach is to visit on an off-peak weekday, but no matter when you visit, this coaster often has a short wait in the first hour because it is located in the very back of the park. I believe this coaster used to have a single rider line, but it has not been available for many years. The fastest way to board most days is to purchase a fast track skip the line pass. You are routed directly to the load platform, so you typically board quickly. It is worth noting you cannot access the front row of fast track. That is only accessible from the main queue. You see, towards the end of the main queue, there is a separate front row queue. This is the only coaster in the park to currently offer one. Everyone else is assigned a row. I have found that the crew of this ride more frequently honors row requests than the park's other coasters, but it still can depend upon the employee. I slightly prefer the front for the rush of wind, but the forces otherwise feel pretty similar across the train, so your seat does not matter tremendously in this one. 3 other operational notes. 1. This is the only ride Alton Towers where riders cannot wear glasses under any circumstances. This is an interesting policy because Merlin allows glasses with straps on Stealth and Desert Race. 2. Unlike some accelerator coasters, Rita can operate in light rains. The faster accelerator coasters and even Desert Race typically close in any precipitation for guest comfort purposes. Rita only closes in heavier rains. 3. This ride is not as prone to mechanical issues as the larger accelerator coasters. It can still have downtime, but that tends to be the case with any ride Alton Towers on any given day. This ride features over-the-shoulder harnesses, like those on Desert Race, Stealth, or the former Kingda Ka. You have a thick cylindrical portion that rests on your lap, and hard straps. I definitely wish this coaster had soft straps, or just lap bars like some of the other accelerator coasters. While this ride tracks smoothly, it is possible to lightly chop your neck into the directional changes. I am able to avoid this by leaning into the turns, but not everyone will instinctively do this. Once secure, the launch sequence begins. You roll forwards and then backwards as the train engages with the catch car. Narration advises you to keep your head back and escape the forest. You then hear an engine revving sound. Racing lights above you turn green, and then you take off as the voice says, "Go, go, go." This sequence is so iconic that the park even has a whole theme to it at their mini golf course.
You must escape. We're counting down. Get those engines ready. Go, go, go!
But back to the coaster. The launch accelerates you from 0 to 61 miles per hour or 98 kilometers per hour in 2.5 seconds. While that cannot match the larger accelerator coasters like Stealth, Rita's launch still has a lot of power. It is way punchier than a magnetic launch, as you're abruptly yanked down the launch track. This is particularly exhilarating in row 1, as wind pelts against your face. This is immediately followed by a low rightward turn. You suddenly snap into it, so watch your neck. The turn itself offers good positive Gs. You then fly over the first of 3 S-hills. This is the ride's tallest point, reaching heights of 69 feet or 21 meters. This offers solid ejector airtime for all. The exit is another low turn, this time to the left. This turn is more compact, so it offers intense positive Gs. Rita hits a whopping 4.6 Gs, and this is where it occurs. I always start to gray out here. Next is another S-hill. This one offers good floater for all. It is also paired with a sweet head chopper as you pass underneath the prior S-hill. The train then glides around another low turn. This one hugs the inside of the first one. It offers decent positive Gs, but not as much as the prior turns. You then have the third and final S-hill. This is the lone dud on the ride. It is small, but it is too shallow to offer any airtime. The train then sharply jumps upwards into the brakes, giving everyone a nice ejector pop. The train then slowly wraps around the maintenance shed as it makes its way back to the unload platform, ending the experience. Rita has 2,100 feet, or 640 meters of track. That is towards the middle of the pack for an accelerator coaster, but is still very short overall. Launch to brakes takes just 25 seconds. That is the biggest con with this ride in my opinion. The pacing is great though, minus that third S-hill. There's good speed throughout, especially with the nearby tree coverage, and most of the elements hit. What would I rate Rita? I would give this coaster a 7 out of 10. This is a good launch coaster. The elements mostly work, with the punchy hydraulic launch, forceful turns, and the airtime hills. Then the ride is nice speed and pacing. I just wish it were longer and had the same level of theming as Alton Towers' other major coasters. Still, this is one I'll always ride a few times each visit. I mentioned at the start that Desert Race was a near clone, but I think that coaster offers a superior experience. It is 2 miles per hour faster and 7 feet shorter, so the forces are even stronger. All 3 of the S-hills there offer ejector airtime. Then the finale was tweaked so you quickly take the turn around the maintenance shed, so it actually has some pep this time around. While some have speculated if Rita could leave Alton Towers, I hope it sticks around. Could it have been better? Yeah, but the ride as is fills an important niche for the park. It is a speed demon with an intense launch and some ejector airtime. Those are my thoughts on Rita at Alton Towers. What are your thoughts on this coaster? Do you hope it keeps operating? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you consider subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.